Nigeria, welcome to Day on 99.3 Nigeria Info. It's that time we'll look at the papers again and tell you what they are talking about today. We're doing this with you till 8 a.m. My name is Wemimo Adewuni. I'm here with Jimi Disu.
Morning, Wemimo.
Good morning.
Great affair.
You guys,
I have to say
help
that
me with the response.
Since this is probably the last time this year that
It's the last time this year.
Monday,
Yes. So you have to throw out the jibes today. You enter.
Pepper them.
Pepper them, gang. Welcome to the show, guys. We're live
everybody.
on Facebook and YouTube, Nigeria Info 99.3. You can watch us there now and leave us your comment. You can also leave us your comment on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM. Use the hashtag Nigeria Info MCF. Would love to read and hear from you. Let's start with the Punch newspaper today. Sanwo-Olu pays 60 million naira to slain policemen's families. This was my chit chat today. I really thought I brought good news to Nigerians, but while many of them were saying it's okay to pay them, they then compare with families of those citizens who had been killed before now, Kolade Johnson and so on. They haven't gotten compensations.
Yeah, I listened to you this morning as I was getting ready for work, and I was just saying to myself that we expend so much time and energy on things that have a very simple solution. I've been a strong advocate of tidying up our protocols and processes to handle issues of this nature. Okay, and if we did that common sense thing of tidying up our protocols and processes, we won't be having these kind of arguments. What I mean is, by now we should have a standard of who gets what when what happens.
Mm-hmm.
We should have a standard as to how to call A, B, C, irrespective of what he thinks he is or who he thinks he is. I mean, for example, in our country, some governors are called Comrade Governor, some are called Mr. Governor, some don't call me Excellency, some call me Excellency. We need to tidy up these little things, because when we do that, the bigger things will take care of themselves.
Yeah.
By now, what I expect is that a policeman who dies on duty, or anybody in national service, as it were, who does national service, there is a standard compensation for the family, which can easily be taken care of by a well-packaged insurance policy.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this idea of governor coming to announce that, oh, I gave policemen's families this, then you start having an argument on the propriety or otherwise of it, and you set the it's unnecessary. And we waste so much. I heard this morning, but for the fact that the radio was in the background, I wouldn't have. I found it quite irritating that we're very early, 5:30 in the morning, we're having an argument over a very simple matter that can be taken care of by protocols. We should have something that says, if during a riot, whatever happens to an individual, these are his rights.
Yeah.
If he's a man in national service, be it a fireman, a policeman, or whatever, all these things need to be automated.
And this is possibly some of the things that the judicial panels can recommend to the governors in the states.
I think
right
it's
now.
even further than that. These are some of the things the National Assembly and state assemblies should have tidied up at the very beginning. And if they haven't done so 20 years after democracy, then there's something wrong with us as a people. We can't continue to do things in a haphazard manner. And look at the issue of the death penalty. You have a death penalty that dictates that if somebody commits an offense or whatever, he's sentenced to death. Okay, now the governor has a prerogative either to assent to it or to commute it to whatever it is. Most of our governors have decided to do nothing. So you have the cells are full
of people on the death
sentenced to death for close to 10, 15 years. That in itself is inhuman. I don't like the death, but you see, I remember one governor who said, oh, he's a Catholic and therefore he cannot shed blood. If you can't do the job, if you can't stand the heat of the kitchen, don't go near it.
Or repeal the
well, you have to go through the whole you have to go through the whole processes. But we've left so many, and that is why we are in such a confused state. We've left so many simple things spread across, from something as simple as how do you address a governor is left to the individual.
Yeah.
I want to be addressed as this, or I want to be addressed as that. I want to be called an emperor. I want to be called... and we can't continue to live our lives like this. and waste valuable time on what I consider trivia had we gotten ourselves organized fully. Now, as for the coming back to the issue itself, as for the governor compensating the policemen, I would have thought the police itself would have a very robust package that would not directly involve the governor having to do this. But you find a lot of our politicians try to do these things to endear themselves to the people. If you had an insurance, and you don't have to cough out the money. If you had an insurance policy that dictates that 48 hours after a policeman dies on duty, his family gets a well-rounded package of about 50 million. Because you see, when you have 50 million, before you go up in arms, no, you just pay a premium. Yeah. You just pay a premium. It is so simple.
And I think this is one of the things that the agitations of the youth have called for: welfare packages for the police. So it's not left to the governor's mood to determine how much you get.
Yes. And so where a governor continues to sign off money in the name of trying to show care and whatever, and I think that our politicians are doing these things deliberately to use it as a weapon to endear themselves to the people as and when due. It is time for us to tidy up all our protocols and processes and get on with the hardcore of running business. Look at in the news now. Apapa Achodi has been on lockdown for close to 3 years. Now the traffic has gone all the way to Ijesha.
Yeah, I've had someone call throughout this week saying his bus has been unable to move. Yes. And he's a transporter.
The governor is busy having a meeting with his chief of staff on what compensation to give them, but there are more serious issues for him to contend with.
Absolutely. Someone on the show this morning asked passionately, so all these things we're talking about, do they listen? I said, but they do. So the conversation we had yesterday about COVID-19 vaccine was debated on the floor of the House, and it's also the news today. So there's a headline here in the Punch: COVID-19 vaccine, Nigerians risk a global travel ban, Senate warns, NMA allays fares. I played the inserts during the news at 6 of the conversations around why we need to provide even budgets for COVID-19.
This is shameful.
Like we never thought about it.
At a time when 3 days ago, I'm seeing the action plan of Boris Johnson.
We don't have
At a time when Joe Biden, who has not even taken office, already virtually has a team and an action plan waiting, we are still debating. Mm-hmm. And there was a claim, there was some claim here, there's something here that says that, we're waiting for what's it called now? Global initiative. I think they've promised us 20%. We're always begging for something. We're just a nation we just beg and beg and beg.
We don't have money.
What do you mean we don't have money? Because we have, look, there are no free lunches.
Right.
Okay. So I don't know when we're going to get out of this begging mode. So we are not begging for 20%, and now we're not claiming that Tomori says he is the chairman of the expert review committee on COVID-19, says we need 80% coverage. The 20%, who is going to make up the 60%? It's just a whole bundle of confusion, and it is disgraceful. It is very, very disgraceful.
Again, we're talking about human lives.
In the Committee of Nations, we look like a band of people who cannot take care of themselves. And that is what brings about every time you have a problem, you've run to global initiative for 20% of the vaccine. Are you going to vaccinate just 20% of your population and bound the other 80% to the Philistines? I don't understand these things.
Well,
so just yesterday now, they were now debating. And the debate came with a warning that other countries would impose a travel ban. Somebody's going to pick that up and say, let's just impose a travel ban.
Right, since they've given them the idea.
They've given them the idea, so you're not well organized. And this is a country that predicates its economic survival on bringing in foreign direct investment. Who's going to do business with a country like this?
Good questions there. Let's go on to the Vanguard newspaper today. Boko Haram, use of mercenaries is federal government's decision, says DHQ. Use of mercenaries, FG's decision, says DHQ here in the Vanguard today.
I wonder why the editor casts this as a headline. Because it doesn't have any meaning to me. I don't know. I don't know why I don't know why the editor of the Vanguard, and I'll take it up with him whenever I get to see him. What kind of a headline is this? The use of mercenaries of course it's the federal government's decision. Of course, the use of mercenaries is not wouldn't be left to the military to decide.
Right.
It's a federal government decision, and most likely, if care is not taken, if it's not well rounded and well put together, the military itself might not even cooperate with the mercenaries. Because if you look at what it says here, the story here says that some of the mercenary groups have been used in the past say that they will no longer help Nigeria again. Let me read it from the Vanguard. It says, during the administration of Goodluck Jonathan, Nigeria had covertly brought in military technical advisors suspected to be mercenaries from South Africa and former Soviet Union to take on Boko Haram ahead of the elections and whatever. And he says that PR Nigeria quoted one of the facilitators of the mercenaries as bemoaning the humiliation. So you get it, humiliation, persecution of foreign mercenaries along with Nigerian counterparts who participated in the operation after the emergence of the current administration of Muhammadu Buhari. They kept it as, that was Jonathan's initiative and it should die with him. And he goes on to say that some of our covert operations and activities of operatives in Nigeria, including incurred casualties, were exposed as working for mercenaries. Imagine that even highly classified and coded transactions for operational purposes were exposed as corruption. So what you have is there's a lot of internal politics.
Yes.
Nigerians have a bad secrecy habit.
Yeah.
Even some doctors will be briefing you about their patients, when it has absolutely nothing to do. There's a patient who came in, his name is so and so. This is what he has. This is what I gave him, and stuff like that. We have that bad habit. Very bad habit, and the world of mercenaries, of course, is covert. Nobody wants to be labeled as such anyway.
Yeah.
And so apparently, because of our own internal politics, our behavior, and whatever. Even the mercenaries that you think that you want to bring in are no longer interested in doing business with you.
Wow.
This is how far down we have gotten in the Committee of Nations. It is very sad.
Well, when you mentioned one of the mercenaries, that we've had in Nigeria on the show some days ago, my face went, how did we get to know his name? Should we...
Way back then?
Yeah, way back then.
Von Ronson. But I tell you that in the 60s and 70s, mercenaries didn't hide themselves.
Oh, they didn't?
No. It was everybody knew Von Ronson. In the Congo, in certain areas, there were some mercenaries, because mercenaries in some of these countries led the army. When you didn't
the whole army.
They led the whole army. You didn't have the expertise.
Wow.
They would call them foreign tactical or whatever it is, but they led the army. But over time, the world has decided to turn its back on the use of mercenaries. At the end of the day, what's a mercenary? You need to put up a fight. You don't have the expertise, and you call in a group to tidy up. To tidy it up for you.
They're just not Nigerians who
it's
come
gone
to
for
help
hire.
you.
You have private security guards. So
expertise for hire.
Yes,
that is it. Let me take some comments from Twitter. Silas Adebo says, "Comrade Governor, Servant Governor, Emperor Governor, Mr. Governor," and so on. So it's giving us the various titles. Udochukwu Nandi says, "How can this happen without his consent?" I'm sure you refer to the IGP. I think IG has lost control. The governor has shown he needs police more than the citizens because they protect the executives more. That I believe is referring to
let me put it in context. The policemen who died in the course of duty,
and they were mostly following orders,
and they died in the course of duty, and I think as their back-end employer now, note the words that I'm using, back-end employer, he felt the need to do the needful. But this is what happens when you haven't tidied up your processes.
Absolutely.
You get open to all kinds of criticism, and that are justified, because every human being and every human soul is the same.
Yeah, and someone asked him today, where did he get the money from? Where's the money from?
No, he could take it from...
Is it his personal money or my taxpayers' money?
No, it's not. It's not. The government...
Alfred Temitope Peter Senior on Twitter, our senators raising alarm over travel ban due to COVID vaccine is a selfish call. Who gets the vaccine first? Is it not the same self-centered politicians that will take over the whole distribution and keep for their unborn family members? Emmanuel Michael.
Yes, this is part of what we are talking about. If we had proper processes, if by now we knew that, okay, it said somewhere in the story that, somebody was saying that he heard that Nigerian officials have been talking to Pfizer about the vaccine and so on and so forth. I doubt the veracity of
They
that.
have.
Of that, I doubt it, because for a simple logic that the minister himself would have said, "Oh, we are talking to Pfizer."
Yes.
And so I doubt the veracity of that. Maybe that call just has now gone in this morning. I really can't tell. But what we're doing is very disgraceful. It is disgraceful and condemnable. We just can't get ourselves organized. We just can't get ourselves organized. And that's because most of our officials who have this responsibility think that they have an open... You see, there's something in the psyche of Nigerians that just doesn't want to make them achieve sometimes the unachievable, but wants to make sure that others around them don't. There's this supremacy culture that you have. After a while, this is going to be some kind of big privilege. Okay?
Right.
Only the privileged will have COVID cover.
Unfortunately. Let me take this comment from Yinka D on Twitter, who says, on police death compensation, are we saying that the police union does not cover this in their collective bargaining agreement? I'm sure you refer to the Police Service Commission. Says all major companies and banks in Lagos do this. The governor has no business dishing out our money in such a way. Emmanuel Michael says, are you not aware that 20% of vaccines they want to get from global initiative is just for the elite? Who told you? Says, so the rest of the citizens will be bound to the Philistines. You've been well taught. I can only say you've been well taught. Kole Kazim, all these problematic discussions you make every day. I believe people or a group of people are responsible. It's someone's duty and responsibility. Let's call them out. If they can't do that, they should leave for credible people. That's coming from Facebook. James Flexi, all the committees that have been created is of no use. We see no results. The present government has nothing to offer us. Let's talk about Mina, who has been extradited from Niger Republic to stand trial for money laundering. He's back in Nigeria.
Look at the way we do things. I got a video of his arrival yesterday.
I watched it.
He arrived like a VIP.
In fact, I felt I was saying, where is he? Is it the one being handheld, helped down the stairs, helped up? I said, where are the handcuffs?
I don't know. When Fela talked about government magic, here is a man who initially was even arrested, I think, if I remember very well. He had to be extradited from Dubai. Okay, he was granted bail. He jumped bail and went to another country, and you got Interpol to bring him in. Then he comes in like a VIP, if that video is anything to go by. Yeah. Now, I need to be careful. I'm hoping that was a video, but it was, because the Interpol gentleman granted a very short interview after that. You bring in a man like that, you don't handcuff him. Oh, because he's some VIP. If it had been some drug dealer or some 419 person or whatever you call it, Yahoo person, you'd have brought him in handcuffs and so. That is the problem we have. We don't have standard procedure. Yeah. The guy could have bolted at the runway. I don't think he would have run far with his Barbariga that he wore. But the guy came, he wasn't handcuffed, and he came in like a VIP and was, he was met by one nice, clean SUV. SUV. You could virtually see the eyes coming out of the vehicle.
Actually, I was looking at the video and expecting, so where is he? Where? Yes. Yeah, that was what I was looking at.
I'm not saying he's not been proven guilty, yes. Yeah. But he has put us through a whole lot of tension. And I would also, we need to set examples to people. We need to set examples that we have laws for all, the same laws for all. If he had been any quote-unquote lesser person, he wouldn't have been met the way Mena was met. He was met like some top government. You would have thought that he was heading a government delegation representing the president somewhere.
I mean, that talk about having procedures.
And like I said, I pray to God for the rest of my life, I never find myself in a position where I would have to be standing trial with my son for criminal matters. I pray to God I never have that. If should it happen, just let me have access to something that is deep in my left pocket that I can chew, and off I go. Now,
Joe. Please.
But in you see, Africans have lost a lot to the British, to foreign imposition of democracies and so on. In the days of yore, he'd be visited about 1 a.m. with the calabash. In the morning, the job is done. Yes, in the days of honor.
Yeah.
In the days of honor, it wouldn't happen. That's what it's called. So you know about it.
But I think that used to apply to kings and everything, at least from the...
No. It wasn't just... It applied to... Even in families. If you're doing something that is so disgraceful, that's where all these so-called cults came from. They put the Obas, for example, in control. You can't have a man running around with all the powers.
Yeah.
They will visit you at night and say,
you can't do that.
No. They must not break with us having this kind of thing. You know? But
we have the proper checks and balances.
But the days of shame and whatever are completely gone. They're completely gone. And I fear for our society. I fear for my country. I fear for my people.
Shame has traveled out. Well, let's see this one from the Vanguard. Abandoned by federal government, federal and Lagos state government at Papa Oshodi, Badagry expressways on lockdown. Motorists lament gridlock, chaotic situations.
If both the governor of Lagos and the Minister of Works had been employees, based on this, I would have fired them. If they were working for a company whose responsibility was to take care of that region, by now both of them would have been fired.
True.
Because what is happening in Apapa Chodi is completely irresponsible. Even the VP came in, set up a task force. The task force we hear has disappeared. Okwa is missing in action. We don't know what's going on.
Unfortunately, we're out of time.
We're out of time.
I didn't look up. But join the ministry again at 9 a.m. Here we go.
Guy, what's in the make you scatter house like this? I beg, you help me see my Airtel SIM. I carry and give Sade yesterday. But you know they use him again now. Yeah. You don't carry my bonus give landlord picking. Now today you go pack out. On top Airtel SIM?
Yes, so if you don't reach 15 days where you never use your Airtel SIM, go find them now. Because why? Obonga will full on top of. Hey, get 2,000 naira airtime plus extra 200 MB for just 200 naira.
Remita, easy is the call. Download the Remita app from Google Play Store or Apple Store or visit www.remita.net to start making payments now. Remita, because payment should be easy.
All right, Nigeria, we're back. Sorry about that abrupt disruption. Okay. We are back to just round up. Let's finish up with this Mina story, shall we?
No, it wasn't the Mina story.
The Apapa.
Apapa, yes. Yeah. In all honesty, I'd have fired. They're just not living up to the situation. I don't want to hear any excuses. We are not interested in excuses. For close to 2 to 3 years, the place has been on a permanent lockdown. People's lives are affected. And we can't find a simple solution to getting traffic. And it's not, in any case, it's not just Apapa Oshodi. It's all over the states now. Yeah. It's all over the states
Lagos
now.
is synonymous with traffic.
With traffic.
And it's like we just accept it like that. We don't want to fix
nothing in the horizon to show that there's any. I remember way back then when traffic got so bad, we had this odd and even arrangement.
Yeah.
Back then, that showed a lot of thinking. We had it for about 4 years. It worked, and so. But this time, all we hear is rhetoric and no action. So now all of us have to learn to live with it. If you know the number of people, now the in thing now is for you to make arrangements to live very close to where you work. Just yesterday, I had someone visit me. He too had to move so he could be close to his office.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know,
Yeah, I know how tiring that could be.
Yes.
Yeah, and
you come into this studio on a daily basis. You keep repeating yourself over and over again. You don't get any response.
Year in, year out, Monday to Friday, response, every month and every year.
No verbal response, no action, nothing.
Frustrating.
Very frustrating.
Yeah. I mean, that's just a summary. Very frustrating. Let me take some comments from Twitter on our conversation this morning. Budget says, in Nigeria, when you thief big in millions and billions, you are respected and pampered. But when you thief in thousands, your own don't be for Nigeria. Femi the Great Pundit, Wemimo Sodiwe, when these cultural matters. Look at you. Says, I'd like to look into Uncle Jimi's left pocket one day. Hey.
No, what you find there will frighten
you. Will not like yourself. This is another one here from Odi Mano Ieme, who says, as for Mina, I am optimistic nothing will come from the trials. It's all distractions and nothing more. Keve Lansky says Uncle Jimi is right. So there is this I better pass my neighbor mentality that becomes very obvious, especially when people get into power.
Yes, it's what seems to be driving everybody. Those who, for example, all these police escort things, is not for security, it's for show off.
Yeah. It's just to show that I'm around.
Just to show that I'm above the law. And I don't know how any society can thrive on that kind of belief of its citizens.
All right, we need to now officially say our goodbyes. And thank you all for joining the Dailies today on the show this morning. Jimi Disu is back with you again at 9 on Daily Digest. There's more time to converse with him there. You can also follow us on socials, Nigeria Info FM. I'm there at WemimoSpot. He's up there at Jimi Disu. Let's keep talking. Thank you for coming in.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Nigeria. The Morning Crossfire starts in a moment. I want to speak with you if you're a police officer, and I will be extraying also the legality of the judicial panels. I would also like to hear from you, police officers, how you feel about incidents in the country. Join us again after the news on the hour.
Talk 99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.